Hello and good day. We're going to do a bit of finishing today. I've got some nice razors for you. I've got this tapered razor. New to me. I've been after one for years. Finally found one. I cracked the bloody scales on it. They were just crappy celluloid or whatever they were. So anyway, yeah, I found these scales for it. I've been keeping these, waiting for something kind of, well, fitting. And I kind of like them. Whether I'm going to keep them in there, I don't know. I might end up making some scales for them. I'm not sure. But they kind of fit near perfect. Like, it's really, really close to the wedge and everything. And I really like it how you can see the blade within it. But we'll see. So that's the one I'm going to be finishing today. But we'll do a little bit of show and tell. And so I've got these ones ready this week. These are all up to 8,000. It's an MK31. Is it an MK or is it just a number? It's a CV Hellisland number 24. You get them in MK24s as well. There's another little one. Again, just number 24. Not the MK. I don't see many of the MK24s. They're normally always number 24s. Lovely little razors though they are. They really are great little razors. And we've got this Sprock. All up to 8,000. The reason I'm keeping some of these at 8,000 is just because I can offer them a little bit cheaper. And if somebody wants like a natural edge on it, they can, well, pay for it a little bit. You know, I don't charge much to put an actual edge on it because all the work's already been done. But I've had good feedback off my 8,000 like edges, so I'm quite confident. I've sold 4 and I've had good feedback from all of them. They just said they were a very good edge, and I've shaved with it as well. So anyway, that's the 8,000s. Let's put them right out the way so I don't get stuff confused. And these are all the razors I've got ready. I'll leave that one till last. Look at this, boys, look. Just lovely, man. It's a J.A. Hengel's 57. It's cold here, by the way, today. If you see me doing this a bit, it's because it's bloody cold. And I know I'm in my house, but in the day, we don't put the heating on much, especially when it's just me. J.A. Hengel's 57. This is part of a 7-day set. This one is a Thursday. These are just, well, proper top-notch razors, man. The grind on it is spectacular. Every single one of them in the 7-day set just sits on the stones lovely. The metal seems just about the best sort of German steel ever. One of them's actually got a bit of damage and it ain't got this little, well, barber's notch of sorts. It's been kind of rounded off, so before I got it, they got damaged. But I'm really excited to shave with it. J.A. Hengel's, one of my favourite makes, like my German make especially. Just bloody great razors, and to say they've been good on the stones has been an understatement. It like encourages you to do really good laps. It really does. This is my, well, I wouldn't say new to me actually, because I've actually had the blade for a long time. But finally I got some scales for it, so, and they are the original CV Hellisland scales. I got an MK31 in that was very short. And it had some tremendous pitting, like deep, you know, like the deep spotted pits that weren't active or anything. Like whoever had it before me had clearly polished it to death. And when I started honing it, because I was still kind of like, you know, thinking, well, it'll shave good if it shaves good. But when I got it under the microscope and started honing it, I could kind of tell that even with me honing it and then honing it and honing it again, or even if I was going to grind the edge back, it was still going to be in those pits. So I just bit the bullet, took the scales off, and I had this one ready waiting. I actually had 2 that needed scales ready waiting, and yeah. So this one I think is my lifetime keeper now. My MK31 lifetime keeper. I don't need to look for any more MK31s. I will, mind you, but for me, I don't basically. It's quite a clean example. Really is. It's about full size. It's not been shaved with much. It's just lovely to hold and everything. Really is beautiful tool. And this one's a bit of a new one on me, gents. I don't know, it's not like I've come across lots of these. I can't really find any basically, but it's a Bismarck, but it's a Bismarck Junior, and I don't know what the hell's Junior about it, because it's quite a big-ish razor, if you know what I mean. I've had two other Bismarcks. I've had one that was what you could call kind of like genuine vintage, which is this as well, and then I had one that you could call that was from sort of, let's just say, a newer time. I reckon it was probably from the 90s, but I can't actually confirm that. And this one, from the moment I put it on the stones, it has just been great. Like I said before, the old 2000 stone, I've got one over there actually. It can really tell you a little bit about the steel that you're going to be facing a little bit, and this got quite like a low, not many scratches, and it really started setting a sharp sort of bevel already, like, and it was biting the nail like nobody's business, and that's always a really good sign on a 2000. Yeah, it's tough steel, nice steel. It's just a lovely razor, like the grind on it. It's got a bit like a heft to it, you know, in your hand. Lovely scales as well. Really tempted to keep this one, I really am. So I might do at least for a while anyway. And this is one of my Ezizis. This is the one that I've had, well, for a while. This is like from my personal collection. And I've just gave it a bit of a touch up really. I don't even think it needed it, but I did a bit of polishing on it, and whenever I do a bit of polishing on, I'll put a piece of tape on the edge to make sure, you know, I'm not going to damage the actual edge and everything. And well, as soon as you put tape on an edge, you know what I mean, you need to do something to it possibly. So anyway, yeah, I took it back. I even took it back to the 2000 for a few laps, but I clearly didn't need to do that. And if you don't know much about them, well, they're just a lovely razor, man. They're one that earns, like in my opinion, like they're run-of-the-mill razors. You know, like nothing truly fancy, nothing big or anything, but these were one of their best razors. Every single one I've ever had of these has been a tremendous shaver, and I think I've probably had about 5, 6 of them. And then, and again, like, sorry if I'm a bit sniffly, it's because I've had the right old cold. So if you've got a good memory and you're on one of the forums I'm on, you might recognise this razor a little bit, because I did do a post when I bought it. So this is an MK32. But this is the MK32 that I bought completely blind. I didn't know it was an MK32 until I got it, and it come with a Kindle. No, it's not. Is it Kindle? The French company that kind of half bought them out and everything. Anyway, I think it is Kindle. I forget now, but it had a Kindle case. It had two MK32s. Like I said, I didn't even know what they were. I couldn't see the blades. All I could see was the box open. Well, actually, no, I couldn't. Yeah, no, yeah, I could. I could see the box open. There was this razor. There was another razor in it. I could tell the other razor had a damaged scale, like half point at the pivot. But it's gutting, man. So I got it, and I was like, wow, man, it's MK32. The first one had like a great big, you know, like a shark's bite out of it, and it also had like a crack, man, right there that went, I ain't kidding you, 5mm from the spine. So it's completely knackered. Like I probably could have completely ground that bit out and, you know, shaped it, but you'd have been left with not much blade. And anyway, I just took the scales off. Hopefully I'll be able to marry it up with another half at some point. And this one has really bad pitting, like just there. And I didn't really shape this blade much, by the way, as well. Like, this is how some MKs come out. They come out with a little bit of a sweeper. Because this has not been honed much at all. It's definitely not been used hardly at all. But it had some really bad pitting just there. Like, I don't know if it's really showing up, because it is still there. I'll show you under the microscope in a minute. One side shows up more than on the other. So what I did is, with my DMT plates, I very gently just chased the pitting, well, basically past it. So I'm probably missing about 3mm of the edge. I ain't kidding you, it's only like 3-4mm. And I'm very happy about this. So this, again, this is my one to keep now. It's got pitting, don't ever bother me. Won't ever bother the shave, won't ever bother the razor. But yeah, so this one's mine. And I always look for razors that have got a bit something going on, so I can actually have an excuse to bloody keep them. Right. But look at this, look. So I've got another MK32, and this is actually my old one that I sold. And the gent was messaging me saying, can you possibly re-hone it and everything, and I was like, yeah, of course, yeah, if you want to send it back I can re-hone it. He had some marvellous shaves off of it, and long story short, I think when he was doing something to it, he dropped it, and it hit something very hard just there, and I call them dints. So it is a chip, but it's slightly worse than a chip. So when I say a razor's been dint, it's kind of like, you know, imagine it's just gone donk and it's chipped, but also it pushes the steel back like towards the spine, and it causes like a deflection, and sometimes it can even cause like little tiny creases that go that way on the razor, which this did ever so slightly, and I think I have got them all out. I've done a microscope video and I took a photo of it on the microscope with the dint, so I'll add that in now. There we go. Just so you can see the damage, and we'll turn the old microscope on and I'll show you how it's come out. You know, it's probably lost like, I don't know, a mil, like, and whenever you're doing that, especially on a razor like this, you've always got to make sure you do the whole edge. You know, you can concentrate a little tiny bit more on the tip, on the toe, but you've got to do the whole edge, because otherwise you just put the whole geometry and almost perfection out of a razor like this. Let's have a little look under the microscope so you can see like how it's turned out. Hang on, we can do it that way, yeah. Just let me get it set up here, lads. Sorry about this. Right, let's get the little, here we go. Right, that's MK32, there we go. Just get a little bit of, so this is the 12,000 edge on it now. And as you can see, it's a pretty shiny edge. There's a few little scuffs and bits and whatsoever, you know, but on the whole, it's a very kind of like laser-like edge. You know, there it was, and it was a big old dint, and it's still not perfect, like, but I think it's going to turn out alright. And if it don't, well, it'll have to go backwards, won't it? The other side, there was more damage on that side, and that's the side that had more of like the deflection, the like how it deformed. Right, oh yeah, let's turn that off, and we'll turn it back on and have a look at this one. And I'll show you the pitting, like, because it's still quite bad, but you don't even have to, like, you don't have to worry about it. Look at the stamping on it, like, look at the stamping on this, look. It's lovely, isn't it? Lovely and crisp for saying so old, and look, there's the old thumb notch. It's pretty cool under the scope, isn't it? So look, we'll watch this, look. Oh my god. Look, still a little nibble there. You can see it right in the middle of the screen there. Still like a little tiny, you know, like, well, you could call it a chip, but it was one of the wormholes. Carbonole, I call them. Holes of razor death is what I also call them. And then this side, look, a bit worse. But as you can see, look, you know, I have like reformed the stabilizer and the shoulder ever so slightly, and you can see how I've chased it just past any point of problem, or at least I believe I have anyway. Let's have another little look. Let's go this side. It's a bit easier to see this side, I think, today. Hang on. Let's have a try and, there we go. And that is a laser, isn't it, that one? Just marvellous steel. Combination of Swedish ore, grind, everything. It just, like I've said before, to me they're one of the best razors ever made. They really are. But look, something I wanted to show you. Well, actually, I'll get this out of the way because stones can cause damage if you're not careful. Yeah, I just wanted to show you this though. Look, so it's two MK32s. Quite a bit different, man. Don't know if you can see it, but you know, there's quite a bit of difference. And then if you put them this way, see if we can try and, quite a bit of difference again. So it just goes to show that over the years, man, they really quite changed them. Look, put them like this, you can see differences as well. And it's the same with those two MK31s I've got as well. They're quite a bit different. See the difference? It's quite a bit, especially in real life. So this razor, my razor, is definitely more hefty as well. Like you really can, like I can feel it in my hand. And if you look at the grind, I don't know if the camera's really going to pick this up, but if you look at the grind, it's just a little bit different as well. Like there's just a little bit more kind of weight into it. And again, look at the tips. Let's just be really careful not to clash them. Look at the tips. So like over a year ago, right, I sold an MK31 to some chap. I forget what country it was. It's in Europe somewhere, like, and it had on the listing, like, you know, that you know, because I'm always very honest with my listings, or at least I try to be. Yeah, it was an MK31, but it had a bit of a smile going on. Like an MK31, well, MK30s, 29s, 30s, 31s, 32s, they're not really meant to have much of a smile going on. But this one did, like, and it weren't massive or anything, but it was noticeable, like visually, and obviously when I put it on my little graph, you know, like the little thing that I used to sell, to show its size in kind of like, you know, flat geometry, like that way, the profile of it, you could really see it, like, and I had it all in the listing, you know, like I said, you know, like, and he got it, and he was kind of like, well, this is just not an MK31, I've got another MK31, and I was just like, they're all different. Like, even though it's an MK31, yeah, they were made to a type, but they were probably ground by, I don't know, 10, 15, 30, 50, you know, how many people ground them? Well, I can tell you now for nothing, it weren't bloody one bloke, it weren't 5 blokes, it'd have been probably quite a few blokes that did it, so everyone turned out a little bit different. You know, they were quite similar in a way, but they were also quite different. And again, that 31 over there, this 31 over here, it's exactly the same. They're different. You know, I've had them that come a bit more sweepy from the heel. You know, look at the toes. Different. You know, a bit more of a sweep, completely square. You know, that one, this one's definitely got more heft to it. It's you know, it's quite slight, but you only need like 5 grams, and you can feel it in your fingers. You know. The other way around, looking down, different. Bit more heft in the tail there as well, the tang, like you can see it in this angle. Bit thinner, more heft. Whether that's a bit older, I don't know. You know, the stamps are different on it. This is stamps are a bit different on it. You know, even when you put the razors like that, I can tell there's a bit more weight in this part. Yeah, you know, they were made for a long time, so they're going to be different, and they were made by different people. Oh, there we go, I left that bloody running, so I've got to trim that. Yeah, so we're doing a bit of finishing today. I won't get all these finished today. I'll get the MK32, my client's one, get that one done today, but I won't do it on camera because we're doing the same old process. Right, so we're going to do this one now. So this is called a tapered razor, and they were all the rage from my understanding, and please don't, you know, like, think that I'm the be all and everything on this, because I can only do as best as I can, but I found an ad, and from memory it was about 1890 or 1880-ish. I don't know, 3 years ago, and I was a bit like, oh man, look at that, it's a different kind of razor and everything. And it's the first time I had ever encountered a tapered razor. And I can remember having a look online. There's a post on Badger and Blade that I actually did comment on. It's from a few years ago, and some chap found a really nice other Sheffield one. I forget what make was it, mate. I think it might have been a Joseph Rogers, but whatever it was a Sheffield. And from my understanding, I think it was pretty much Sheffield, the only ones who made these. You've got to be a bit careful with buying these razors though, because there's many people out there, well I don't say many because there's not many for sale, but there is some people trying to pass them off, and one of the ways you can tell is quite obviously you've got the taper on the profile side of it, but look, if you look at the actual spine, it goes, you know, from where the blade starts to a taper as well. So, and that's because, you know, when you're doing your laps and everything, they both have got to marry up, haven't they, and meet. But this one's a bit different from most of the others that I can find. So for instance, the one that I found on Badger and Blade, it's very kind of like thunk, like angular, meaning it's just straight, like a straight taper. But if you look at this, it's almost got like a bit of a belly, like to the taper on the top. And then if you look at the blade, well, it kind of translates to the blade, and I think that was done on purpose, and I think it was to create a bit of belly on the taper. I can only surmise, because obviously we can't ask the people that made it anymore. I know nothing about the stamp on it. Well, I did find a few things, but it just didn't make no sense. So if anybody can shed any light on the actual, I'm not even gonna, Etruscan, I ain't got a clue. But it's a John Watts, and John Watts are a very good maker from yesteryear and everything. Yeah. Interesting though, isn't it? No, they are like, and again, I know I've said it before, I don't like using the word rare, because a lot of people bat that around to try and up their market share with anything. I'm not just talking like razors, I'm talking anything bloody vintage, old, basically. People try and big it up, don't they? Saying, oh, it's rare. It's like there's some dude on one of the selling sites, he's using like the words extremely rare and God knows what else on the front of his listing and everything. And I can tell you now for nothing, man, that puts people right off, because I only have to see those words rare, and sometimes I won't even click on the bloody thing, because I'm just like, it's not bloody rare, man. There's hundreds of thousands of these razors floating around the internet. But I do believe possibly a bit rare, because you can't really find many of them. You certainly can't find many of them for sale anyway. I'm sure there's many a collector over the world that's got quite a few of them hoarded, that's not, you know, not showing them off, because they're for them to collect. Right, we're going to be doing, oh, I'll tell you what, let's just quickly do the old microscope. Yeah, so let's show you some of these edges just before I get going. So there's the old John Watts Sheffield stamp there. We'll just get some of the name in, just so I can, yeah, there you go. So it's a nice 12,000 edge. There's a few lines in it, but it's got like a steady edge. There's no major sort of chips or anything in it, even little chips really. None of them serrations are really, well, I see the little tiny, I can see a little tiny bit there. So where's that? That's just below the E. We'll see what that does. It's actually quite a bad little scratch there, isn't it? We'll see what it does. It's that small though that it's not really going to bother me. What other edges have we got to have a look here? Let's have a look at this Ezzy's. I will be selling this Ezzy's because I've actually got another one that's slightly better condition. It's kind of what I do with these Ezzy's. Got a nice box with it. There we go, where are we? Let's just get the name in a bit. Ezzy's, yeah, that'll be enough. He really did use quite marvellous steel on these Earn razors. All the razors from Mr. Earn. I can't really speak any ill of them really. You know, I've got another one coming through the stones that was out one of them companion sets, and it's damn near identical to this. I did actually feature it in one of those what's in my drawers. And again, it's just a lovely razor. Let's have a look at the old Bismarck. Make sure we don't bloody catch it on anything. Like I said, I've not seen many of these Bismarck Juniors, and I couldn't really find that many. I had quite a good look around the other night. See this edge is as bitey as anything, and it's been really bitey since the 2000. It really has felt like it could really grab. So I'm looking forward to shaving with that, yeah, because I'm definitely going to shave with that, whatever I end up doing with it. Let's have a look at this J.A. Hengels. One of these had the most tiniest little chips in it. I think it might have been this one, and my plan was just to see what the old like slurry stone could do to it, because I've been doing a little bit of sort of experimenting, as we love to do. And yeah, I've got managed. Well, basically, I can get rid of little chips using my slurry stones. It's got a lovely edge on it. Really has just acted well, amazing on the stones. And I've run nearly all of these 57s. Well, let's have a quick look at the MK31, just because we're here, eh? MK31. Everybody loves an MK31, really, don't they? And if they ain't, it's because they ain't had one. As you can see, that Swedish steel is like a laser. It's the most tiniest little chips there. But I reckon it'll be alright. Right, let's get all the ones out of the way that we're not going to quite do now. Like I said, I won't get all these done today, but I will concentrate on the MK32 so I can get it back to the chap. He's been left with, I think he says a Boca. It's just not as good. But it's like I said, to me the MK31 is one of the best razors ever made, and it's kind of like weight, grind class and all that. But the MK32s, man, they're just a lovely razor. Like the combination of steel, grind and weight just makes them just a lovely razor, man. It really is. I can't speak highly enough of them. I think what have I had, four or five maybe. Just exceptional. And now that I've got one with a bit of damage kind of thing, bit of pitting and that, it's mine now. It's all mine. I probably will sell the little, well I say little, the 7-day box that come with it though, because I don't ever want 7 MK32s, so I might as well just sell it. Hopefully somebody will make a 7-day set out of it. It don't fit the MK31s, you see. It was quite literally made for the MK32, so I'll show you that in a minute actually, the size difference between those two. Just because we've got them all here, might as well. It's quite rare to get them all in one spot. Right, kind of take note of kind of like the colour. Yeah, look, here's my two razors. I'll line them up at the heel, kind of roughly. And I ain't lining up the pins, but look, you can see it's kind of like 10mm. If you lined up the pins, it's even more like, the pins are probably 5mm out, roughly. It's quite a bit difference when you put them like that as well. Look. Quite a bit different in size. The MK31 is quite a small razor really. They're a bit shorter than, let's just say, kind of most razors that are roughly that size. I didn't realise that until I started trying to put them in boxes and stuff that weren't kind of like theirs. I will weigh those two MK32s though, just for my kind of future records, if you know what I mean. Right, let's give this a whirl. Sorry, that's my eggs turning, if you can hear that in the background. I've got some more chicken eggs. See, on the whole, this has been easy to hone really. Like, it flows nicely on the laps, it sits nice and flat both sides. I think when I first started honing it, it was lacking on the heel a bit. But what I did last night, so I was going from the 8,000 to the 12,000 last night, and I've got it up to the 8,000 done, and there's like a little aperture on the bottom of my little microscope, and as I lifted it away from it, I just ever so slightly dinked it, and I mean ever so gentle, but it did ever so slightly deform the edge, so I had to go back to the 5,000 for a few laps. It was, well, it was a few more than a few really, because 5,000, as much as it's a brilliant stone, they don't really get rid of much. So yeah, I had to take it back. So it's almost got like a double honed edge, this is, so whatever weaknesses it had into sort of like the 8,000 and then going into the 12, I think I have quite sorted them out. It's got a better edge than it was going to have anyway. So if you notice already, that slurry has changed colour. It does seem to do it quite quick with this old, well, I say old, this new stone to me, this coma. I'm definitely still in my learning phase of it. I don't think I've got the best out of it yet, and I still haven't tested them with all the other stones to see whether it fits, well, to see where it fits within them really, but I'm in no rush. But it's a nice stone to use. And it definitely seems razor safe. It's kind of passed all those tests, so I'm excited to shave with this razor though, I must say. Like, I know Joseph Rogers was definitely one of the ones that pumped him out a bit, because that's the ad I see. And they were supposedly a bit of a fad for sort of 10-15 years. Ask yourself why they didn't take off. Well, what could the reasons be? Well, surely they've got to be a bit harder to make. You know, and back in the day there was so much competition for razors. It's not like you could probably up the price to pay for the manufacturing, if you know what I mean. So per razor they probably weren't getting as much as they were for what you could kind of call a bog standard razor. But in today's world, what would it have been called? It'd have been good for clicks and likes, isn't it? Like, those ads would have definitely caught people's attention, you know, just because of the old curiosity of mind. But you can kind of see, like, some of the logic behind it in a way, because, like, when you shave with a straight, like, you know, it's almost like a sweeping stroke. Well, in a way, the razor's doing that for you a little bit, isn't it? You know, that's just me surmising, me talking out loud, guys. But I do think one of the reasons they never really took off proper is because they just cost more. And the thing is as well, like, if they, let's just say they come out like 1880, let's just say to like 1895, so that's the 15, even if it was 1990, not 1990, sorry, 1900. You know, the old safety razor was only a, well, decade and a half later, so it was the decline of the old straights. Not a decline in my house though. Right, well, that feels really nice. I'm going to keep going until it's a bit clearer and have a look. I'm still yet to put much work in them Morton Cheap Street razors that I've got like 4 of from a 7-day box, but it only had 4 of them in there, because that's what I want to use. I want to use those razors as a bit of a test bed, like, so I can test my slurry stones out. I can really kind of gauge if there is like a bit of preferred order, because my initial kind of thoughts for this comb are it seems a bit more aggressive than my Magiro, like in terms of its marking the razors more as well, like quite a heavy sort of frost. And again, it's like I'm not experienced enough to really say, you know, is that bad or good, so I'm kind of refraining from that. It does seem like it takes me a little tiny bit more sort of stropping to get it like popping hairs and everything, but then I say that and I don't know whether that's just me thinking it. So again, like I said, you've got to kind of get 2 razors at the same, and I've got 4 razors that are exactly the same, likely from the same batch of steel and everything, so they're bloody nice razors. There's nothing cheap about Mr. Cheap Streets, Morton Cheap Streets razors. They were definitely kind of high end. I've had quite a few over the years. Been shaving with my old Dorco 14. I'm on my 4th shave of that now, and it just seems like the edge is getting better. Really nice shaving experience with that razor. That's still popping hairs as well after you strop it. Alright, this should hit nearly all the blade. I don't think there's much of a weakness in like the lap. I think it's generally hitting all of the razor now. I finished the gold dollar the other, well, it's like a week ago now, or whatever it was, and that I was still lacking on the heel and the toe, but I was doing it on one of those tiny little German water hones, and if something's not hitting that great on a stone, like it can accentuate it a little bit. But I've got it popping hairs, so just yet to shave with it. Right, yes, well, the water went quite grey, but it's now going. I've still been practicing with my left hand, and I can now say that I'm safe right up to the 12,000 stone. The only reason I'm really not doing it today is because I'm still way quicker with my right arm. Like, I have to be still quite perfect. What's the word? Purposeful. Yeah, purposeful with my left hand and thoughtful, especially when you get to like the 12 and, you know, this stone, like meaning hard stones. But yeah, I can do it one-handed now quite well. And I'm basically getting good edges with my left hand, which has been a fun little thing to do for myself as well. Let's have one little more spray. We'll have a look. Don't know if you can hear it in the background, but there's like a whirling going on. That's one of my videos for, well, this channel. Editing away, exporting. It said 6 hours when I press bloody go. It's like 6 hours, man. Just can't get my head around why it takes so long. Other than like it's a lot of data, because it's 4K kind of thing. Well, I say it's 4K, it's only 4K at 25 frames a second. So it's not like a real high frame rate. Right, well, I think that slurry is kind of gone now, isn't it? We want to have a look what the old slurry's going, because we're very much still in the old learning phase. There's a few marks on this razor and that, but there was some quite baddish pitting there. And somebody at some point has definitely, well, scratched 5mm towards the bevel a bit. I'm not going to say it's sandpaper because I'm not sure, but both sides a bit. It quite well could have been from when they initially grinded it. Must have had some skill though, eh boys, to grind something like that. You know, like some of the best grinders in the world, Sheffield, German, right, and obviously Sweden. But it must have been a bit of a task when they first started making them. Right, let's get the old name in a bit. There we go. Right, John Watt, Sheffield. Let's do the other side because it's a bit easier for me. Yeah, so it's definitely hitting the heel as well, isn't it? Nice, and it's definitely frosted it up. But it's definitely not chipping the edge, which is always just a good sign to see that it's still, the slurry stone still being consistent. The base stone is not chucking out any, well, bad grit, which I must say can change at any moment with any natural stone. You only have to take, you know, like 1/10 of a mil off and you might release something. But so far, right, let's give it a little bit of a diamond tomo. I think that's what people call them. And then we just give it one without anything, give it a bit of a wash off. Notice how like it just really this stone don't really release much, even with this little diamond plate. You know, it's not a coarse diamond plate, but if you did that on any of my synthetics and any of my other natural stones, including my old JNAT, which was a 4.5 supposed hardness, and they were from the same chap, so you know he was grading them. But yeah, it's very different. It's very hard. Let's see if we can even find it. Oh yeah, you can. There's like more greenness, but as you can see, it really ain't released much, is it? Can you hear a different noise? It's definitely a different noise, lads. Nice laps though, man. You know, you could think that'd be a bit of a pain, wouldn't you? But whoever made it knew what they were doing. I've got an old John Watts coffin box somewhere as well, I'm sure I have. From an old salvage razor. I can even remember the razor, it was as rotten as anything. Not cell rot, just gone, rotted, got wet at some point. What do you reckon about keeping the like the scales on it and keep these? I was thinking of maybe doing that like fake tortoiseshell ones on them, you see, but I quite like seeing the blade through it because it's a different like style of blade. Lovely noise to make. There you go, left that going again. What a donk. Got a little bit more draggy that has now. Let's have a little look. Let's just get John Watts in there, just so I know. Well, I think that's gone a bit shinier, isn't it? Still lovely and frosty, isn't it? Let's just take that stone off and give it a bit of a wash. And let's just give it does feel different. So even though that looked like that had nothing on there, instantly that felt different. A bit more sort of slick, less draggy. It's about the only time I sort of kind of pressure changes a little bit, just to try and get as light as I can really. if you've got a taper razor yourself, I'd really like to see it. Like I said, I just can't really find many photos of them or anything. I can find another one of these, but when you click on the link, I think it's on one of them Worth Point websites, it goes to another razor for some reason, so I can't actually see. And in my head I thought I had the bloody box for this, but I haven't, which is a shame. It'd been nice with a box. Like I said though, I have got a John Watts box. Yeah. Maybe the final look. It's coming on nicely, isn't it? I don't think we need to do anything more. I see how it strops, and we kind of, I think we just go from there really. I think that should be alright, but if not, I could always come and give it a bit more. Well, there you go lads, tapered razor by Mr. John Watts. Never seen one before, never had one before, so I'm glad I found one. It's going to be mine for a long time. Well, I say a long time, for as long as I want it, but different, isn't it? Wonder how it shaves. We'll find out. Right, I'll see you later then lads. Hope you have a good one. Toodaloo. Oh, I should have done this on camera, really thinking about it. But anyway, back again. But so it's actually popping hair straight from the stone. Like, I've done nothing. tiny bit lacking on the heel. Sometimes it's popping it. Yeah, see, just there it started popping. So, if it's popping straight off the stone, because it don't do that every time on my J-Nat. Oh well, on a lot of my natural stones, to be frank. So it is popping on the heel. A little bit more encouragement. Yeah, still about there. It generally means it's really going to pop. We'll see though. I'll give it a good strop.